It's the battle of the billionaires. And now it's Mike Bloomberg's turn. He used to be a Republican, but he became so rich, he had to join the Democrats. He's rich, he's white, he's male, or in CNN terms, he's Satan. Now he bloviates in the faces of other Dems, offering wisdom based on his decades of success, as well as being really boring and earnest. While speaking in New Hampshire, he reminds the Dems that the election takes place in America, not Berkeley. With their lame platitudes, the Democratic campaign resembles a high school beer party before mom and dad unexpectedly show up.
I'm a little bit tired of listening to things that are pie in the sky that we never are going to pass or never going to afford. People aren't going to overnight give up their jobs if those jobs happen to not be on the right side of the Green New Deal. I think you can have Medicare for all for people that are uncovered. To replace the entire private system where companies provide health care for their employees would bankrupt us for a very long time.
Talk about charisma, or opposite of charisma. Don't have him stand in front of machines because he just blends in. So Bloomberg is calling BS on his own side, offering a reality check to a party riddled with dopey, history-averse chuckle buckets. Now, that makes two billionaires, him and Schultz, throwing cold water on these bozos. They almost make one Trump. But this is a party tied in knots, with the loudest voices embracing bad ideas that left behind a century's worth of skulls. As progressives, aren't they supposed to look forward instead of dressing up as Vlad Lenin? Rejecting the common American dream, they look at this country and say, I'm tired of all this prosperity. Let's destroy the greatest system ever created and replace it with the thing that always fails. Which is why Bloomy reminds people that socialism isn't some cool new thing a hip teacher told you about to get you to share his bong in a van behind the football field.
We need a healthy economy, and we shouldn't be embarrassed about our system. If you want to look at a system that's non-capitalistic, just take a look at what was perhaps the wealthiest country in the world, and today people are starving to death. It's called Venezuela.
Sounds like he's handing some common sense to the Dems, which is like feeding steak to a cactus. You know, when I was writing this up, I didn't actually listen to the tape, Katie. Mm-hmm. I just read his quotes, and I thought, wow, these are really good quotes. He's a smart dude. And then I listened to him, and I go, nope.
Little dry.
He's not going to make this. He's not making
dry.
it.
In the age of
it would be nice if you could put yourself on 1.5 speed.
Yes.
Yeah, I just need to turn it up a few notches. Yeah, he's not going with the bombastic nicknames like President Trump. He's not going with the Cory Booker style hands and Spartacus moves. I'm not sure he's going to make it. But I do like what he's saying about Democrats. He had some good words to say about Venezuela and the socialism that we're seeing there. Today, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez actually attacked Howard Schultz for being a billionaire and saying that he needed to get in line. So it's funny how the left likes billionaires when it's convenient, like donations to their campaign, George Soros, funding all of these advocacy groups. But when it comes to their success in the American dream and building themselves up from the bottom, as Howard Schultz did as someone who grew up in a Brooklyn housing complex and then made his way with Starbucks, they're telling them to get in line and saying their American dream doesn't count, despite them doing it.
But get in line is what Democrats said about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez when she was trying to beat and she did handily beat the
through hard work,
congressman who didn't even show up to his own debate.
Do you think, Bloomberg was a pretty good mayor, right?
Well, compared to now, yeah.
Yeah, well, anything, just a rock that you found at the bottom of a toilet.
Honestly, what is that? Did you see today? People are hiring private security to protect themselves on the Upper West Side. Come on.
Well,
anyway.
Is that what did your Pilates teacher tell you?
Nobody told me something else.
So, Dana, since you're already talking, what do you think that somebody like him is going to make any headway?
I think that the headway he makes is within the party.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes to the front of the pack as their ultimate nominee. But can somebody like a Howard Schultz or a Mike Bloomberg get the Democratic Party, keep them from going so far left that it's just unrecognizable?
What do you think, Juan? Do you think he has a chance, or will anybody listen to him? Or is it just like whoever is kind of Trumpian, charismatic, memorable is going to be who's going to be the nominee?
Well, I think people like the fact that Mike Bloomberg is a thoughtful guy, and he has a lot of money, obviously, so he can fund his own campaign. And he's going to get lots of platforms. I mean, right there you saw at St. Anselm's already up in New Hampshire. So no question he's going to be out there and media attention in New York. He's known. The New York media likes him. So, but that's not the issue. The issue is whether or not a billionaire in an era of tremendous income inequality is in touch with the real issues that face the American people. I was looking up today. I said something like, was it a, huge number, 57% of Americans can't afford a $500 bill in 2019. And so there's populism. The Trump side of it is
Who
populism.
would buy a $500 bill?
I don't know. Anyway, populism on the far right and populism on the far left.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, we've talked about this before. And I think he's out of touch with that. I mean, like, for example, the criticism of Medicare for all, which is coming from Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Most Americans support this.
Until they figure out how it works.
And then they say, well, what about, can I keep this, whatever. But the principle, the bold idea that starting a discussion is supported by most Americans, including most Republicans.
But that is a half opinion, and the other half opinion, which is never brought up, is how do you pay for it? And then once you get to that, the other opinion goes, Jesse, would you like to talk about Bloomberg, or would you like to talk about Howie Schultz?
I'll do both, Greg.
Would you like me? Can I show you something?
Sure.
Anyway, it's this tape from Morning Joe.
Okay.
Watch what they did to Howie Schultz, because they're trying to protect Kamala.
Okay.
Or Kamala.
How much does an 18-ounce box of Cheerios cost?
An 18-ounce box of Cheerios?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
See,
eat.
now here's the deal.
I don't eat Cheerios.
Here's the deal. You ask us. Like budgets for the VA. We're going to ask you questions.
Ask me anything you want. I don't eat Cheerios. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's $4.
Is it $4?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she just looked it up on Google. She does not eat Cheerios for breakfast.
Well, as the reigning supermarket showdown champion, I was very disappointed in Schultz. And I bought some cereal today that cost $7.99.
What? New York.
It was very expensive organic cereal.
You bought it
because
at
I
the
treat my body like it should be treated, Greg. You know it. Only the best for Waters. Here's what I think. What's happening right now in the Democratic Party is an intervention. And trust me, I know about interventions. It's happened a few times. I can know it when I see it. And the centrists are making the same arguments the conservatives have been making about socialism for decades. And this is why it stings so much. And the Democrat response is, shut up, billionaire. That's all they have.
Right.
And Schultz and Bloomberg are coming at the Democrats with genuine political fellowship. These are Trump haters. They want what's best for the country. And you'd think someone that ran the biggest city in the country, ran one of the biggest companies in America, knows a little something about supply and demand and basic economics. But instead, the Democrats don't argue the substance of their policies. They don't say this is how it's going to work and this is why it's going to work and this is how much it's going to cost. They just say you're mean for opposing me. So it's bad politics and bad policy because you're ceding the entire middle of the country to Republicans, and Republicans don't even have to do anything. Yeah. And if you look at the policy of it, to say I want to destroy $1 trillion industry, put everybody out of work, 50% of the country gets their health insurance through their company. They like it. You take their plans away, it's going to be Armageddon.
But you know what's interesting? Schultz is already having an effect because Kamala is already adjusting.
She's on the defense.
She's on defense, but she's changing her mind. She's going, you know what, I'm not going to ditch the insurance industry.
But she never said that. All she said was, when you go to the hospital, that you shouldn't have to ask people, is my plan covered? But I think the big issue here, and I'm surprised that you would say this, Jesse, is the deficit's ballooned under Donald Trump. Where did Republicans come in saying, oh, this is how we're going to pay for this huge tax cut and increase in
It's because of spending, not the tax cut.
This is
never about the spending.